You have probably seen the news that the Stellantis brands are very busy making many changes, righting some wrongs, fixing some mistakes. The Hemi is coming back to the Ram, the Hellcat is not actually dead, the Charger is getting a gas powertrain, and Jeep is also part of that. They're announcing 4x4, not referring to four-wheel drive, but 4 new vehicle reveals in 4 months for North America, and we're kicking it off with this, the new Jeep Cherokee. This is still very, very important because it's a large segment and they've completely reinvented the Cherokee to bring it to North America. Today, we're getting up close with these. We'll take you on a tour of the exterior, the interior, talk about it, and try to find as many details to show you about the new Jeep Cherokee as I can. Now, this has been thoroughly redesigned. It's bigger than before, and the powertrain is all new, and it's very, very interesting. So it is a hybrid, not a plug-in hybrid, not a pure electric, not a pure gas, just a conventional hybrid. And there's some benefits to that, right? Without a bigger battery pack like a plug-in hybrid would get, you have less weight, less complexity, and less cost, and less of a change for the consumer in terms of their behavior. When you go to even a plug-in hybrid, you kind of got to think about, oh, should I go plug this in my garage, at a charging station, and try to maximize that efficiency and range, whereas a conventional hybrid is a bit more straightforward. Now, the powertrain is a 1.6 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. It's actually from Europe. They've been using it. I think the engine's on its 3rd generation, but they've brought it here and localized it. So it's a 1.6 turbo 4 with the electric motors and a rather small battery pack. It's like 1 kilowatt hour, really just to boost your efficiency and give you that electric torque with the electric motors, and then an EVT, electrically variable transmission, not a CVT, not a conventional one specific for this. It is going to be all-wheel drive, but this is not the trail-rated one. We're gonna get a Trailhawk, sorry. The head of propulsion actually made that same slip up. The Trailhawk, which is the more off-road focused version of the Cherokee, will be coming. We're not gonna get a Trackhawk version. That'd be cool, Hellcat in this, but no, not actually. So the Cherokee powertrain is gonna make 210 horsepower, 230 pound-feet of torque. That's good for this segment. The real play is the efficiency. 37 mpg targeted with over 500 miles of range on a tank, and that is actually pretty impressive. Performance, again, is not the focus of this. It is efficiency. I think they said 0 to 60 in 8.3 seconds. It's merely adequate, but I am impressed with 37 mpg combined and over 500 miles on a tank. So with that, now let's go grab the other camera. We're gonna get up close with one of these, check out the exterior, the interior, talk about the tech, and my initial impressions of the new Jeep Cherokee. All right, we've got some time with this Jeep Cherokee, so let's get up close. This one is finished in a paint color called Red Hot. Dodge, Jeep, and Ram certainly know how to make some cool paints and give them cool names too. The one up on that stage was called Hydro Blue. There's gonna be a green, there's a metallic brown, and there's the standard blacks and whites and silvers, right? But this one here, finished in Red Hot, certainly will stand out. And let's start off with the styling, the looks. The previous gen Cherokee, I mean, you could tell it was a Jeep because of the 7-bar front grille, but it looked kind of generic. It was not my favorite. This one is actually larger and much more Jeep-like, very squared and more boxy looking. Immediately from the front end, you can see it's pretty much fully straight up and down, and you have, of course, the 7-bar grille, which is just a Jeep signature cue. Now, the lighting, they've also redesigned. They said they wanted to make sure that you could tell this was a Jeep when it was coming towards you, and we have this cool, like, curved segments of individual LED lighting, and that pattern is actually echoed in a couple other places on the vehicle. The blackout piece here that ties the headlight into the grille area was inspired by the older Jeep Cherokees to try to preserve that design look. And we got some rugged looking plastic fascia down here just to give it more of a proper Jeep look. Definitely better than the previous generation Cherokee in my opinion. So this is now longer, just under 5 inches longer. It's got about a half-foot longer wheelbase. It's actually 1 inch wider and 2 inches taller. So it's substantially bigger presence and footprint compared to the previous outgoing Jeep Cherokee. And that definitely helps. It feels like it's been upsized a bit. Not quite like Grand Cherokee size, but not as small as it used to be. Couple cool details I noticed. You have a old Jeep in the center caps on the wheels, so that's a fun little Easter egg right there. The wheels are 20-inch wheels, and again, not like crazy all-terrain tires on it. This is the more regular version of the Cherokee. We will get a Trailhawk later on. The Cherokee badge here on the side, also look at the O. kind of echoes the design of the headlight, right? With like the little segments in between there. So we get the Cherokee badge there. We have a much more squared off roof rag too. They wanted to make this help the silhouette of the vehicle and just an overall more boxy shape to it with the trapezoidal wheel well openings there too in the black plastic. Now coming around back, the taillights are really cool too. They said the design took inspiration from a army jerry can, right? Like the fuel cans they have. So you kind of see that pattern here with, again, those little like segments of LED lighting. So it's all LED lighting, and that definitely will be a very identifiable design cue when you're behind a new Jeep Cherokee. We have the 4x4 badge here. This one is an overland trim, and then more of that black plastic cladding on the lower side there. You can equip these things to tow. I think it's 3,500 pounds towing capacity. You have a single exhaust tip down there. And let's see if we can open up the tailgate. Power open, you press that button. They say 30% increase in cargo capacity because this is a slightly larger, longer vehicle than before. So it looks like a good amount of storage back here. What's underneath? Oh wow, even more storage. So no spare from what I can see, unless they're gonna put one in here, but a lot of space down there. Good amount of cargo here. The floor is decently high, but it's flat, so you can load stuff in here. And then of course you can fold down the second row of seats for even more space. So there's the cargo capacity in the back of the new Cherokee. Let's see, are there any other design details? We've got a little Jeep lettering inside the tail light. So you have to press that to release the gas cap. That's a hybrid thing. It has to do with like the voltage discharge, I believe. So there's always a button to release for hybrid ones before you can get to the gas cap. I've experienced that in a couple other vehicles, but it's a rather large gas cap. Anyways, enough dwelling upon that random little detail. We'll get to the interior in a moment. Let me do one more quick walk around of the exterior. Give you guys a look of the new Cherokee. It definitely is much more Jeep looking to me than the previous iteration. This little like line here on the front fascia that joins kind of the black lower fascia to the headlight is interesting. On a black car, probably all blend in, but on a lighter colored contrast color paint, it definitely stands out more. We've got the 20-inch wheels here, and then also flush door handles. So you have a little like touchpad button on the inside there. So that's probably for better aerodynamic sculpting. And there is more legroom in the back too. Because of that increased wheelbase, you have 1 more inch of legroom in the second row. Looks like a pretty nice opening too for getting in and out for your friends or your family, your kids. I'm gonna hop in the back. I am 6'3". Wow, is that lighting unflattering. But I'm back here, I actually have lots of headroom and my knee room's okay. So at 6'3", I can sit in the second row of the new Cherokee. Not a problem. It's because we have that studio light just shining through the sunroof. So we have a sunroof open here and quick glimpse up front. So let's go ahead and hop in the driver's seat and show you up front. We have some contrast stitching here. There's a couple different interior options. This is actually there's no leather, no actual leather, so it's all synthetic. The base tiers start with cloth. There's a various cloth, and then also there is the lighter colored contrast, like a really light gray. That hydro blue one had the light gray, like a leather vinyl interior. We have a Alpine sound system, Alpine, whatever it's pronounced that way, and then this has the higher tier interior. So it's got this like almost diamond pattern in the perforation of the seats. I gotta say, this like synthetic leather stuff is getting good enough that like you almost can't tell unless somebody told you. It feels very plush and nice. So we have start engine stop on the Wagoneer S, because it's electric, it's like a little power button here. I wonder if they're going to do a full electric version of the Cherokee, because this is on the Stella, STLA large platform. So this underpins the Wagoneer S, this underpins the even the Charger Daytona. It's a modular platform, right? But this one here has the hybrid powertrain. But start engine stop, we have the selector here, which is actually made of metal. You can hear that. That's actually a nice touch right there. And then this is for toggling through. So let me go ahead and turn ignition on. Little Cherokee welcome screen there. So you would rotate this for your drive select, and then we have our toggle for various drive modes. It's still got to be a Jeep, so some amount of capability. It is all-wheel drive as standard. We've got auto hold, hill descent, and then you have your phone charging slot right here to hold it right there. So wireless phone charger. And I love that they have this in the cup holder for you to be able to put your phone there, a second phone. Maybe you're a passenger, another phone here, and you can still use the cup holders. And then a massive amount of storage space down here. Use phone for scale. We have some physical controls for our climate. Well, it's like a touch panel, but you have actual controls here, not all through the Uconnect screen. So that is definitely nice. Got some traction control, low gear. This looks like parking assist, parking sensors here, a couple USB-C ports. And then we have our Uconnect infotainment screen. This is Uconnect 5 running the built-in system and all the modern vehicles of this iteration. We do have heated seats, heated steering wheel controls here. If you have cooled seats, it'll also be the control right there on the side, along with a physical volume knob, which is nice, and a tune scroll knob here. And then Uconnect, you still have wireless CarPlay, Android Auto. This is the climate screen we see right here. We can go to vehicle, rear view camera. You see the little studio corner we're currently parked in right now. E-hybrid, so we have some information about power flow, driving history, what's been going on. Off-road pages, okay. It's not gonna be as extensive until we get into a Trailhawk or other things like that. But here's the Uconnect screen. This is a 12.3-inch screen, and then this is a 10.25-inch full digital cluster. So actually, I'm noticing something interesting. You see that right there? It's got like the power button that we saw on the Wagoneer S. And I thought I saw in the presentation, when they showed the interior, there was one at the power button here. So either they changed it for this other production version here, or maybe it's teasing at a more electrified plug-in hybrid version. I don't know. But this one here is just a regular conventional hybrid. And this one says start engine stop. You have the digital cluster, which can be reconfigured. We've got the sunroof. I showed you that when I was sitting in the back. Actually pretty spacious up front. It feels nice. I think the light colored interior, the light gray, would even give it more of an open, airy feeling. We also have the electronic door releases right here too. So you press that button and then the car starts dinging at me because it's on and I'm opening the door. The steering wheel is very, very large. It's a stop sign. So it's the trapezoidal thing, kind of inspired by the shape on the wheel arch, right? But it's a stop sign. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like it's an octagon, right? It's actually quite large. The opening up top is nice because it gives you a full unobstructed view of your digital cluster. Sometimes when you have these big digital clusters, the steering wheel spokes, depending on your seating position, your height, you can't see. It gets blocked, right? But not on the Cherokee. I can actually see that quite nicely here. And the steering wheel has physical buttons, which again is welcome. Looks like some cruise control stuff here, and this is for interfacing with the screen. You can change the look, the design. You can change the layout of your various menus. So I'm just clicking on this button right here. There's navigation. This one here is showing 425 miles of range. It's got 28 miles on it, so it hasn't actually lived in the real world, right? But I'm curious to see when we finally get to drive one of these if you can do that 500 miles on a tank. You see the power and regen, so with the electric motor you can do a little bit of regen braking to charge up that battery, but it's not a plug-in, not a plug-in hybrid. The Jeep lettering there, lots of storage. I actually really like this storage here. I could imagine putting my sunglasses in here, maybe a camera, maybe my wallet, right? There's also another little ledge right here you can put your phone. So lots of cool little nooks and crannies for storing things. How's our center console? That's actually pretty spacious too. We got a couple power, that's a 12-volt outlet right there if you want to plug in a charger or a radar detector or something like that. I already showed you the wireless phone charger. Nice touches. The metal, lots of storage space here. The steering wheel feels surprisingly just big, like hefty for a vehicle in this segment size. Some texturing here of the plastic. That's almost got like a rubberized feel to it. Some stitching going across there. It's nice interior. It's a definite step up, and again, from the previous iteration, but we are in a higher tier trim with this one here. We have some memory seat controls over there. Our auto up and down windows. Let's talk about the pricing. So cars are getting more and more expensive, but the Cherokee still sits in a reasonable price segment. The base price is going to start at $35,000 plus destination and delivery, so it's $36,995. So $37,000 starting price. That's under 40 grand for a hybrid that'll get you 37 mpg combined, over 500 miles of range. I think it definitely looks very Jeep, right? You look at it, you go, yep, that's a Jeep. You took all the badges off this thing, you would identify this as a Jeep given the 7-bar front grille, obviously, but they did a good job from that standpoint. Now, we will get higher trims, the prices will climb, but I'm actually really curious if we're gonna get lower trims. Like, will they offer this without the battery system at all? Maybe they put a lower tier engine in possibly, or something to give us an even more affordable version. The executives were kind of dodging the question of like, hey, what other powertrains are you gonna add to this? Is there gonna be a lower tier one that's not hybridized, that's even more affordable in this segment? So definitely curious to see what happens with this. The drapes are falling off from our little corner studio filming right now, but anyways. So there's the new Jeep Cherokee. Definitely interested in the new hybrid powertrain. I think they did a good job with the redesign, updating it, making it a little bit larger, giving you some nice content, and excited to see what the Jeep brand is going to be doing overall. New vehicles coming, new reveals. We've got a new Grand Cherokee, a new Grand Wagoneer. They are working on revitalizing their lineup. We're gonna have Hemis continuing in different platforms too. The Wrangler 392 is going to continue. We'll see what they do with the Gladiator, but starting off with the new Cherokee, a mass market, affordable hybrid option now from Jeep. What do you guys think of the new Cherokee? Thanks for watching.